Studio 12 here from the south end zone of Kyle Field. Tori Vidales is back for another edition. Gave her last week off. We'll use the excuse of finals or something like that. Isn't that coming up? Are finals coming up?
Yeah, just
This
pretty
week?
close.
This week,
Plus,
maybe?
she had to prep for Monday night, Oscar night in Aggies.
That's right.
The BCAs.
Yeah.
And she was hosting the whole event. I mean, busy.
Co-hosting.
Quad hosting.
There you go.
There were
Three other student athletes.
There were four of you.
Yeah.
So she's suckered one of her freshman teammates into coming to visit with us, Kaitlin Alderink, Aggie second baseman. She probably didn't have a choice of whether or not she could come. Right? The freshmen are just, that's what they do, right?
I tell them, hey, you have to come. No.
Is this Aggie softball's version of hazing? Making freshmen come to Studio 12 and suffer through this?
I was going to make her come earlier in the year, and she was like, I have class that I have to go to. And I was like, fine.
I do usually, but today's schedule's different. So
Yeah, it's finals week.
Yeah, it's Friday schedule.
That's right. Well, when you hit a home run against top-ranked and two-time defending national champion Florida to help your team to a win, this is what the reward is. It's not fame and fortune. It's show up and talk to us two idiots.
I thought I did well. Why do I have to go there? ESPN should be calling, not Studio 12.
Yeah. She's like, wait, is this really? Okay. Well, I guess I'll come on the radio.
Exactly.
So, again, Kaitlin Alderink, Tori Vidales with us. The Aggies set to head on the road to face Auburn to close the regular season. Auburn in the top 5 in the polls. But A&M beating Florida in the finale. It was a pretty good series this weekend in College Station. Tori, let's start with you. Coming into the series, you guys had just come back off the road at Missouri. Very frustrating, I'm sure. All close games, none of them going your way. Come back to face the top team in the country in Florida. A team you thought you could beat, you knew you had the talent to beat, but to go out there and to compete and fight with them to pick up a victory in the final game of that series, what do you think that'll mean going forward here as you start heading into the postseason?
Well, first off, I thought it was a great win against a great program. I mean, Tim Walton is an amazing coach, and you can tell by the way his athletes respect him and the way he treats his athletes on the field. But I think for us going into that, knowing that they were ranked number 1, and we didn't really have anything to lose. I mean, they're supposed to beat us, so why not just go out there and play and have fun? So I figured, go have fun. I mean, that's when we play our best, is when we are having fun. And I think us being able to get that win was a huge confidence booster, and especially going to Auburn. And Auburn actually dropped the games to Tennessee, so I think that gives us even more of a, hey, we can, they're beatable, we can do this. So I think the win in Florida was huge for us, and especially Auburn getting beat. So us winning and Auburn getting beat is going to be huge for us going into the next series.
Yeah, and late in that Florida win on Sunday, you guys were up going to the last inning, but then they were trying to mount the comeback. Mm-hmm. I think in so many cases you would watch anybody else Florida played just because of who they are, just because the name on their chest and the number 1 ranking. A lot of teams would have crumbled. But those are moments that you can kind of take with you. What was it like dealing with that last inning where it's kind of all on the line? You could get a win over the number 1 team in the country, and, I mean, we have to say that they'd only lost 3 prior to that. I mean, you would be in rarefied air if you beat Florida. That last inning, kind of take me through it. I mean, it didn't seem like you guys would panic considering all you've been through this year.
Yeah, it was definitely a stressor, but we didn't really – I feel like we kept our composure really well throughout the inning. The leadoff double, I think it was, a double, and then, we were like, this run doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Go at the batters. And then we had 1 walk and then 2 walks and then 3 walks, and then you start to kind of panic a little bit. You're like, okay, well, now it's a situation where they get a hit and 3 runs could even score, so just depending on where the balls hit. So it was very stressful, but at that point you have to pause for poise. You have to remember, hey, still the same game. You got to slow it down, got to keep it calm. And my thing is always staying really calm in moments like that. Like when you go up to bat, whenever you're in the field, you have to stay quiet in your mind for it to be, you have to be successful if you say so. But for us, I think it was just being calm, because whenever we always talk about it, pause for poise, and for us to actually be able to do it, and Sam come in there and get 2 big outs when the bases were loaded with just little pop-ups like that was huge for us. And I think the ball off the bat, did you think that it was going to be through?
I was like, there's no way she catches that. And then for her to come through and catch that, it was amazing.
I thought it was going to be a stand-up double
Yeah.
off the bat,
It was
and
a
I was
rope.
like,
It was a rope.
"Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!"
Faces
I just
clearing.
I kind of my breath stopped. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I just saw Keely just right over there. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Came out of nowhere and caught that ball.
Literally
well, she's
nowhere.
got speed. They hit it toward
Right?
the right person.
Yeah,
If
no.
somebody going to run it down, she can. But I just asked that because baseball and softball, you guys play 50-plus games in the regular season. But I still think when you look back on a year, you can circle about 4 or 5 moments that really mattered to you, that helped you. And I think Sunday, that last inning, you guys finishing that off against the number 1 team in the country can be one for this
Absolutely.
team.
Kaitlin, so many great moments, especially the end of that game. It was a really fun game to watch. But one I think that maybe gets lost in the shuffle a little bit was Erica Russell's RBI single in the bottom of the 6th inning. You're up 5-2 at this point. You've taken advantage of some Florida miscues, forced their hand on some stuff. That run, that base hit, and this is a kid that had 3 hits all season coming in, 0 in SEC play, not asked to hit in clutch situations much. How excited were you to see her deliver that hit, and how big do you think that was for the team in getting that victory?
It was awesome I was so excited for her because, as you said, she's been struggling all year, and she's such an amazing person. You just love being around her. She's always upbeat, and to see her come through like that with a huge hit we had 2 outs, I think, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so clutch. I was so happy for her, and having that extra run turned out to be very important. We needed that cushion going into that last inning because you never know with Florida. They could always come back and score however many runs. So it was huge for us to have that run.
Now, you delivered the big hit that got the Aggies on the scoreboard, the solo home run that hit off the fence and bounced over onto the scoreboard there to tie the game. For you, do you still look at yourself as a freshman? I mean, I know you're 50-ish games into your freshman season. You've played in, we've said, probably the toughest schedule this program has ever played. Do you still look at yourself as a freshman? How do you view you as you kind of enter these last 3 or 4 weeks of the season?
I really don't see myself as a freshman really anymore as much as I did because I know coming into this year, I kind of felt like I hadn't really earned my spot yet and that, I had something to prove. And now it's more like I'm more settled in. I feel like I belong here. And so I really don't feel like that newcomer anymore.
Yeah, this many games into it, especially against this schedule, it's kind of hard. You've been through so much. I guess you all feel like seniors by this time.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, I mean, it is a long grind. But just your thoughts of coming in to play in the SEC, and is this conference, we ask a lot of people this since A&M made the move, was this conference something that attracted you to Texas A&M in deciding to join this program?
Yeah, for sure, because you watch all these teams on TV, and you have the SEC Network now, so you can watch a lot of SEC games, and you see that SEC has all the top teams, and there's hardly any teams that aren't top teams in the SEC. And then coming into it my freshman year, and to see that we're going to have one of the toughest SEC schedules that you could possibly have, it was a little intimidating, but I was really excited.
Yeah, and Tori, I wanted to ask you, you got that win Sunday when you were honoring seniors. And
Yes.
that has to put something extra onto already beating the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah, I think the seniors at first, when they first found out at the beginning of the season that it was going to be on Florida, they were like, "Oh, are you are you sure you want to have it on that day?" But I think,
Can we bring in a directional for that?
Yeah,
on
right.
Tuesday night.
right? So, I mean, there was actually a picture that stood out in my head after Kaitlin actually hit the ball to first base, and then they mishandled it at the plate. Alex scored, and then Callie came around and scored, and there's a picture of them two hugging at the behind the plate, and it was just such a good picture because it represented hey, it's senior day and we're about to beat Florida, you know. So it was a cool thing, and I think for them it was just so awesome, and they've done so much for our program, and we all love them. I mean, we definitely don't want them to leave yet, and we still got a while, so they're not going anywhere too fast.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was a great thing for them. I'm just glad we were able to give them a win on senior day.
Tori Vidales and Kaitlin Alderink with us here, the right side of the Aggie infield on the Wednesday edition of Studio 12. I wanted to ask you maybe about Joe Evans' message following that Florida game. I believe she said it to the crowd, but for you guys, so you look at your schedule. You've beaten UCLA, you've beaten Alabama, you've beaten Florida, among others. LSU's on there as well. You got to think, I would think, going forward, with not only this weekend at Auburn, SEC tournament, and then the NCAA, you haven't seen anything. You won't see anything you haven't seen already. And B, if you can beat those teams, you can beat anybody in the country. I mean, Florida was clearly the number one team in the nation. How much confidence does that give you guys moving into the postseason?
I think playing in the SEC alone gives you a lot of confidence going into postseason, and knowing that you're facing the best every weekend after weekend. It gives you a sense of comfortability going into, hey, like, we're playing whoever, like who cares? We've seen Florida, we've seen LSU, we've seen all this great pitching, and we've been able to hit it. So I think that's the big thing for us is, one, seeing good pitching, and then two, being able to come through and produce runs. It was huge for us during the SEC, and going into postseason, I think we're going to have no trouble putting up runs against anybody.
Kaitlin, did you kind of look at that? I don't know how much you get into the stats, but Florida played a ridiculous schedule too, just kind of like y'all did. And no one had scored more runs against them than you all have. And you're the only team outside of Auburn, but you've scored more than they did to score at least three runs, which is insane on them that much time. I mean, how much confidence does that give you as a hitter?
A lot of confidence, because we focus a lot on hitting in practice, and we know that we have like a huge offensive power on our team. And to come through like against a top team like Florida with such great pitching that they have and prove it and like back up everything else we've done this year, it's huge for us.
And Tori, I always ask about facing teams like Florida and just how hard the SEC is. It seems like we bring that up all the time, just the difficulty of this league, especially in softball, baseball, football. Really, you could go through all the sports, how hard it is. But to a lot of you, is there a sense that you wouldn't have it any other way? The difficulty is something that you relish and you want, and you're glad you're going through it against the strongest competition in the country.
Absolutely. I think it's such a blessing to play at D1 level, much less in the SEC. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's just such a great opportunity to be able to come out and play against the best people that college softball has to offer. And I think growing up, you play great teams going through select ball, and you see a lot of these players, but people really develop once they get into college, mm-hmm. and all the coaches that they have, like, teaching them the game and developing their skills, you really find out, like, how much potential they have or have shown throughout the years. And it's become something so amazing that, like, we can play at such a high level. Like, if you watch a game on TV, you see some of the plays that these girls are making, and you're like, where did that even come from? Like, what? Like, I was not expecting that. So, I mean, it's just such an awesome thing that you can play people that are so ridiculously talented every weekend. And then it honestly brings us up in our play too. So I think we're able to compete really, really well with other teams as well whenever they're showing that sense of competition with us.
And, you bring up a good point, because usually on a Monday or Tuesday, if you go to secsports.com, it's kind of the SEC Network site too, and I know you've seen these, Matt. They do a little compilation reel of the best plays of the week from softball and baseball, and you kind of jogged my memory on that when you said it. When you watch a highlight reel, you know you're about to see a bunch of good plays. Mm-hmm. But I still watch those from baseball and softball, and I still scratch my head. I was like, well, he made that play, or she made that diving catch? Are you kidding me? I was like, I knew I was going to see some good stuff, but you're right. It's above and beyond. If you ever go check that out, it still has you in awe when you already know you're about to see some big-time stuff. So, I mean, you kind of pinpointed that for me, that I've gone back and looked at those all year, and it really is incredible stuff.
Erica Russell was on that, and so was little Kaitlin over here this weekend with her little home run. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Heck no. One more question before you guys go, and I need to ask this because I haven't had a chance yet. Some huge off-the-field news last week with the announcement of the $28.6 million softball stadium. There's the smiles. I figure I'd get smiles out of there. It's radio. They're smiling. Trust us.
Moving into a new home.
Open the start of the 2018 season. What is that going to mean for you guys to get to play? Let's start with you, Kaitlin. I mean, you'll have 2 years in it. You'll have 1 year in it. What does that mean for you guys to get to play in what's going to end up being the best softball stadium in the country?
It's honestly, I can't even describe how excited I am for that stadium, because I mean, Texas A&M, we have an awesome field. Our field crew, shout out to Craig Potts. He does a great job taking care of our field. But we go to these SEC schools, and they have these all-out stadiums, and they're awesome. And here we are. We're getting a brand new stadium, and it's going to be better than all of them. I'm so excited to play in it and to have that kind of a crowd, too, because it's going to hold more people. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think being able to go to other schools and see their stadiums and what they're kind of working with, I think it kind of brings a lot of anticipation for us and just really trying to get in that stadium as fast as possible. I know I don't want to wish away my years, but yeah, I mean, we already spend so much time at the field, and I think having that facility and being, I guess, the best in the country is going to make us want to be at the field even more. And I think just having different aspects of that, like the team room and the video room and just stuff like that, it's going to make you want to be there so much more often. I think that can only help us in the future.
I think if they want to keep it nice, probably don't need to invite us over there.
Studio 12 can't travel over
We'll
there.
give you a corner of the stadium.
Because I know there'll be
That
like a
and Will's
training and
corner.
nutrition room in there, and we'll just take all the snacks.
Yeah.
I mean, lean pockets,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Oh, you name it. You name it.
You missed the senior day shenanigans
Yeah.
with the lean pockets.
Yeah. No, they'll go in there. Where's all the granola and the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Studio 12 was here this week.
No, we don't eat that
Basically
healthy
took
stuff,
all that
though.
stuff.
We don't
Yeah.
need that
it's all,
healthy
it's all
stuff.
healthy
We eat
stuff,
anything.
so.
What's
Ask
this
Kaitlin about
lean
healthy
pockets?
food.
What's this lean pockets thing? What's going on with that?
Oh, senior day. Okay. Let me break it down. Okay.
The
So-
running lean pockets theme throughout
Yeah.
the year.
So senior day, all the seniors stand up and they get each person on the team a gag gift. And so it could be like something that reminds them of like whoever they're giving it to throughout the year. So Bree goes, and her and Kristen have this thing. I don't even know where they got it from, but Bree says to Kristen, she's like, yeah, Mingli, ching chong chi. Because Kristen did something one day and I don't know. And then Kristen says back, yeah, lean pocket burrito. And so Bree got Kristen lean pockets, but she took out the lean pockets and just gave her the box. And then
So it's an empty box?
Yeah. So me and Kristen actually were in charge of getting Bree's gag gift. So we got her like a shower cap, and then we got her lean pockets, but we like left the lean pockets in there. So it was just so funny. We ended up getting the same gift, but it was hilarious. Like everybody was cracking up because we all know the lean pocket joke.
See, this is the inside information you get on Studio 12.
Yeah.
Who knew lean pockets meant this much to the Aggie softball
I think we've got a
program?
sponsorship. Is
Yeah,
what we've got.
we might be able to
What
call
we've
That
got.
is not a plug.
Yeah.
That is not a plug.
Exactly.
Be doing this show once a month from a grocery store, and then there's lean.
Exactly.
You have Ethernet there? In the,
Probably. In the
lean
frozen food
pocket,
section.
yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, guys, best of luck this weekend in Auburn, and we'll talk to you. Well, you're done for this. You're good. You've fulfilled your duty to Studio
Yeah.
12.
Fulfilled.
Good.
Duty
Caitlin's
The
good.
initiation
You are
is
stuck.
over.
Yeah.
Stuck.
You're
You're
official.
stuck.